Alright, everybody, welcome back to Cheffing Chit Talking. Tonight we have Chloe Coscoy, Team USA climber.
It's been a couple of weeks since we did our last one, so I'm excited to get back on it, new year, and get into it.
New year, new Cheffing Chit Talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, first one of the new year.
Oh, very cool. We all had a big snow day today. We were all out in Solitude, so...
Yeah, got 2 borders here, I ski, and I was just trying to keep up the whole time. So, we're kind of tired. Hopefully that doesn't come across.
A little bit.
But yeah, we're going to make a good dinner. It's going to be a lasagna of sorts with a twist. Kyra's got another eating problem, so maybe you should quickly explain
Oh, yeah.
the lack of eating.
I don't eat, I'm a vegetarian, but then I recently discovered that I'm intolerant to nightshades, which is a whole variety of plant. And so that means eggplants, tomatoes, potatoes, but not sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting one. Oh, bell peppers. Pepper, and any sort of pepper.
Any type of pepper.
So
Tragic.
It's really tragic.
And that makes-
Absolute
yeah.
tragedy.
Severely
Incredibly
limits
difficult.
the options. Great. That's intro.
Psyched. Little altercation now with Chloe because I was calling it a bechamel sauce and turns out that's not how I say bechamel.
Béchamel. Béchamel. On fait des lasagnes avec plein de légumes, une sauce béchamel, du fromage. Ça va être hyper bon.
Wow.
Wow, it sounds way better than butternut squash lasagna.
Béchamel.
Just melting the butter. So equal parts butter to flour, and then you just throw milk on top and then just keep mixing it on like a low heat. Makes a good white sauce.
So for this recipe, we made a butternut squash and cauliflower lasagna, and we started by making a bechamel sauce with butter, flour, and milk, and then we added fried sage, fried in butter and oil, into that bechamel sauce plus salt and pepper. We roasted the butternut squash and cauliflower with salt, pepper, and some ground sage in the oven at 405 degrees until it was soft and ready to be added into the lasagna, and then we layered all of the ingredients together, starting with the bechamel sauce, and then the lasagna noodles, then the roasted vegetables, and then the sauteed vegetables, which was the yellow onion, red onion, shallots, mushrooms, and yellow zucchini. And then the top layer, we had the mozzarella cheese and the parmesan, which got nice and crispy in the oven. How'd we do, Chris?
Dude, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, repeat what you said a second ago.
I don't think meat would have enhanced this meal at all.
That
a vegetarian dish, and it wouldn't have been better with a piece of meat.
Maybe the best compliment that Chris could give.
Like, that was fucking delicious. Chloe?
Yeah, we just had Christmas, New Year's, all that fun stuff in the past month. This is probably maybe the best bite of food I've had in the past month.
And we came up with it just sitting on the bouldering mats yesterday. Chris and I were like, what can we put in the lasagna if Kyra can't eat tomatoes? Okay, let's do sage and some mushrooms and a bechamel sauce. And then, yeah, we were just at the grocery store. Came together.
It came together pretty quick, too.
It did, yeah. For lasagna, that took an hour and a half, yeah. Okay, Chloe, you are currently living in Salt Lake City, like Chris and I. But I remember when you first moved here, it was during the pandemic, and you were in high school, and you weren't, like, planning on fully moving here, right?
Yeah, definitely not at all. I was not in high school. I had just started at Berkeley.
Okay, so yeah, right, freshman in college.
Yeah. Freshman in college, I was happy to be there, staying in the Bay where I grew up, and then, yeah, the pandemic hit. I was like, training at home is not it at all, and we were pretty lucky. We got to go to the TC, so went to the training center with myself, Cece, Quinn, and Taya. We just never left.
Never left, yeah, I remember you were supposed
here
to...
you are. How many years later?
Chris,
2 years later.
Chris knows something about never leaving Salt Lake.
Here I am, still. Going strong.
Yeah, but you guys like were originally supposed to be here for like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, we got here in June. I told my parents I was like a month tops, and I came back probably in August and was like, I'm transferring to the U. We're not leaving.
So you transferred from Berkeley to the U, and then
I did do that.
And you just graduated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, professionally educated.
A college graduate.
College graduate.
Exciting. Okay. So what did you study? Because we were just talking about this.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't know, even though you've been here for 3+ years.
Yeah, I kind of flip-flopped back and forth and took a lot of classes and everything I could. But I studied econ, technically, but only really did 2 semesters of, like, actually doing econ, and everything else. I did some French, some sociology, did some math, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Why would you take French if you're French-speaking?
I might be French-speaking, but I'm not excellent at French writing.
Okay, so there was more to it than how to speak French.
For those who don't know, Chloe,
I took
Chloe
French
is,
1.
Chloe is French and speaks French.
Yeah.
Are you a dual citizen as well?
I am a dual citizen.
Fucking lucky.
But we're lucky she competes for us. So
Yeah. Dual citizen, grew up speaking French, went to France a lot, could see myself being in France more.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I feel like speaking French and being immersed in that culture a little bit through my family and just spending a lot of summers there growing up was always really special to me and something I felt super tied to. That's definitely something that I want to build on, and it's important to me that I learn to speak French better and write in French and read in French better, so I could see myself moving there, just meet new people.
Yeah, and you have met a lot of the French team and stuff, because you just had Mylis from France stay at your guys' house for like 3 months. Right?
Yeah, shout out Mylis Pizza Lunga.
We miss you, first of all. But yeah, so do you think you want to do the same thing? Go to France for a bit to go train and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always good to switch up where you're training and kind of meet new people, see new things. And especially just graduating and not being super sure what I want to do. I don't want to feel like I have to stay here on doing what I'm doing, even though I do really like Salt Lake. But I feel like it's a good time to kind of expand my horizons a little bit. So I'll go to Europe for a while and hopefully train with some of those guys and just see what's different, what's the same, and what do I want to bring back to my life.
Because like from previous trips you have done that, like gone and trained with other teams. How do you find because obviously like when Mylis came here, everyone was like super accommodating. How do you find it like when you go that side?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a lot of those guys at comps before, but I've very rarely actually been settled to where I could train with them and stuff. So I can't really speak as to how open and inviting all the teams are, although I'm sure that once you get to know everyone, it should be pretty cool and pretty inviting atmosphere. We trained a little bit with some of the Japanese team members at B-Pump, just like who were there during the session, and some German people. Just, everyone is at the gyms that you're at, and you kind of sense like that collaboration and that community atmosphere a little bit. Sometimes not so much. So.
Yeah, I feel like people don't really understand why teams train together, because at first you're like, oh, the U.S. team shouldn't be training with the competitors or something, But it's actually a really good way to elevate everybody's level, skills, and that's like one of the reasons Chris has always been able to train in our training center, because it's the U.S. team training center, obviously. But having him there is pushing us into this new level, and then having people like Mylis there, and Miho has come through, Hamish, MacArthur, we've had a bunch of different really strong climbers come through and be able to help elevate our team like that. And I think that's super helpful. Yeah,
and I feel like just being an individual sport, if we're all left to our own things, and it's just never going to work. So
climbing is very much like community orientated. We need each other for psych and motivation. Yeah, so.
And sometimes seeing that something's possible. Like, I know sometimes you try and do a move and it just is like, that doesn't work.
It doesn't go.
But then you watch somebody do it and you're like, oh,
fair.
And then you do it next try. It's like, I just needed to know it was possible. It's good. Funny aspect of climbing.
Yeah. It's a weird sport.
It's a
weird dynamic to how to interact with each other.
Okay, I have a question. So if you studied econ, what did you want to be when you were a little kid, when you grew up? What was your dream job before you were a rock climber?
I wanted to be a professional runner.
Ooh.
I was never great at running or anything. I was this is
But you were a little kid. So
at recess, we had a track, and I was in 3rd grade just by myself running sprints around the track. Someone timed me, I'm gonna run around the track. I wasn't very fast or anything. I was just doing that.
That's the right mindset, though. That's the mindset of a champion right there.
Marine biologist was a big one.
Okay.
A spy as well.
Interesting.
I could see you as a spy.
I think I would love to be a spy. I am not one.
Not
no.
one.
I feel like that's exactly what you would say
Yeah.
if you were a spy.
Here on Cheffing Chit Talking, uncovering spies. But then also you passed a comment in the car. You were saying you used to do a bunch of cooking, so you never want to be a cook.
I did want to
chef?
be a chef.
Yeah.
That came later in life, though. I feel like.
So what age are we talking as a professional runner? Was what?
Professional runner, kind of always in my mind, probably
Still.
until I started climbing. Still,
Okay.
I might still make the switch. Who knows? That was like young days, but I feel like in middle school and early high school, I probably wanted to be a chef.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, I was super into cooking, still am, but yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, this was a first. Chloe helped us cook today.
Yeah.
So that's a first for our 4th episode.
Really?
Yeah, well, I guess we didn't let people cook the other times. So.
Kyra and I are very hands-on in the kitchen, but Chloe knows what's up.
Yeah, this all started because Chris and I are both alphas in the kitchen, and any time that we tried to cook,
We'd
the other
fight.
one would try to take over.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
a happy beta in the kitchen.
I was going for subtle influence in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What she was doing, she was like, I bet we could do it like this.
This is an option.
And I was like, that's a great idea. Let's do it that way.
No, but like the stuff that people typically don't like to do, like chopping onions, things like that, I'm like, I'll do it.
Bring it
I
this
like
way.
that.
Well, okay, and so then the other thing is you live with Cece, Quinn, and Taya as of right now. I know it's changing, or in the midst of changing. But, and that's who you've lived with since Salt Lake. And you were saying that you guys have always cooked dinner together and eaten together, like every night, basically?
Yeah, so I think when we first got to Salt Lake, it was during full COVID. We didn't see anybody outside of our house, and the few people at the TC with whom we were always masked up and tried to keep our distance. So we were kind of forced right away to be very close, and like we were the only people we actually interacted with in person. And so, yeah, we would go grab food and have dinner together. I would cook, and Quinn started cooking as well quite a bit. And then I think that like closeness and that togetherness in the evenings when everyone's home, like we're never off in our own corner. We always are just hanging out together because everyone's there. It's a lot more enjoyable when we're talking and having a good time. So
it's like a family gathering. Like
Family
you can all
dinner.
sit around the table, debrief, talk about today.
yeah, I grew up family dinners every night as well. So I think that's something that I'll probably try to carry into any places that I live and people I live with, for sure.
Yeah, I grew up family dinners
you
as
guys
well.
eat together?
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was
That's
a very
nice.
special time always.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was funny, I went to go live with a buddy in Cape Town for like a month or something, and he was in like a digs of 7 other people, but they had like a cooking rotation, and every night the 7 students would sit down for dinner together.
Oh, that's
And it
cute.
was kind of like ridiculous, like, and they
That's
all were
wholesome.
like such
That's
good
a big
friends. And
dinner.
it was a big
7
dinner, it was
people.
exciting.
That
Every
is
night,
nice.
yeah, it's Ollie Marks, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So,
He messages
that was
me
special.
on Instagram sometimes.
yeah,
So we basically know each other.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, you know each other.
BFFs.
Actually, side note, one of the funniest things that happens because of Instagram is people will message me occasionally on there, and then I'm sure this has happened to you as well, and then they'll come up to you in person and expect you to recognize
Know who
them,
they
and I'm
are.
like, hi, your picture is this big. I have no idea what you look like. But if you tell me your Instagram handle, like maybe I'll remember.
Yeah, you just always refer to people by their Instagram handle.
Yeah.
There's been many people who I thought their name was something completely different.
Like myself, my Instagram formerly was CLOBESTER.
Lobster.
I said Clobster. Everybody around me said Clobster. I thought my last name was Bester.
I forgot about that. I thought her name was Chloe Bester.
Like, who is that?
And I was like, wait, it's Chloe Coscoy. Oh, okay.
There it is.
I changed it. It's pretty clear now.
That is
Yeah.
much
Chloe
more clear.
Zero
dot
confusion.
It's
Coscoy.
not Chloe Climbs.
No, I couldn't do it. There's probably already 4 of
That's
those.
probably
Yeah.
true.
And you shouldn't base your entire personality, which social media is,
I don't know.
off
It's a
of
big
climbing.
thing.
My Snapchat, I'm not going to fully say it, but it does have Climber Girl in it. Which I curse,
How old are you?
I curse
14,
my
15?
14-year-old self.
14-year-old
or
self.
You
13.
can't, no take backs on that.
You can't rename your Snapchat. It's
Damn.
it's really tragic.
Rock climber from here on out, eh?
I actually think Cece's also has Climber Girl in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine does not have climber. But
Fair.
Another funny one I did is, for some reason, when I was a child, I thought making an email was like, oh, I love animals. I'm going to make mine Animal Lover. Which,
At gmail.com.
it's something, we're not going to go the rest of that email. But I was like, this could be read in multiple ways. little fourth grade-year-old me did not know what I was doing with that email.
Fair. I've always had good emails.
Really?
My first one was Christopher.Cossa, and now it's just Chris Cossa.
Oh, that's good.
It was like professional from
Easy.
day one.
Yeah.
I knew what I
Mine as
wanted.
well.
Business. Straight to the point.
yeah, I'd be happy sharing my Gmail with any professional person.
Yeah.
That's true.
The whole way out.
Yeah, Animal Lover does not do well.
No. Like, who the?
Professional settings.
Anyway. But it made for a good
gosh.
conversation starter at
Yeah.
least.
Okay, circling back to rock climbing, because that's, or kind of rock climbing. You had like an amazing season this last season. So for those who don't know, Chloe absolutely crushed on the bouldering World Cup circuit last year. You made every semifinals?
For boulders,
For
yeah.
boulders, every single semifinals. And making semifinals is really
Impressive,
hard
yeah.
in a World Cup. Like you have to be on every boulder in a qualifying round, really, to... You can't,
And to be that consistent.
Yeah,
for
to be
every
that
single
consistent is super
qualification round.
impressive.
That's nuts.
Thank you. Yeah, I had really not low expectations, but just no expectations going into the first World Cup. I hadn't officially qualified for the team, so technically I was only really being invited to the first one in Meiringen. And so I went into it just like, oh wow, I wanted to do Boulder World Cups forever, and I don't know if I'll get to do one again. Like, I knew I was going to get to do Salt Lake, but I was like, I don't know if I'll get any more this season. I'm here right now. It was kind of everything I always wanted it to be. I was like, everybody is psyched. We're traveling to these other gyms before we go compete. And just, like, being with the team, we were all getting along. And, yeah, I think being in that mindset of I'm just so excited I could come here and place dead last, and that would have hurt a little bit, but I would have been totally okay just because I got to be there and live that. And I think having that relief really set me up really well going into that round. And I even remember on the first boulder, I was feeling a little hazy at the first boulder of qualifiers, and I was like, oh, this looks hard. Maybe I'm not going to do it today. And it's sometimes, you get that in the comp where you're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, like the mental kind of...
That weirdness, that dialogue, and I remember just one moment where I was like, no, try to flash it. And I did, and that totally set the pace for the rest of that round. I think had that first boulder gone differently, I wouldn't have done well in that round and wouldn't have made that first semifinal, which ended up being one of my better performances for the season. So.
Damn.
Yeah. Meiringen is a pretty magical comp like that. All my best results, other than like a couple, were always in Meiringen.
Yeah, I was like, this is hard, and I don't know if I belong here, and this is weird. And I was like, just try to flash the boulder. And then after that, I was so in it.
That's
and
cool.
can hardly remember anything
how
from
psyched
that
you are on
round.
the live stream.
Really?
Yeah, that
You
was
can see like
a good
getting
one.
on boulder and then like landing on pads and smiling and just like running around.
Yeah.
Flow state. Kind of.
I think that one really, for me, was like the first time where I was like, this is really the mental state that I perform the best in. And I'd always have questions, am I better when I'm more intense and like really hardcore and aggressive? Am I better when I'm super relaxed and telling myself I don't care at all what happens? And here I was just like, the World Cup boulders are what I've always wanted to climb on. They're a little different than boulders that you get in the gym, boulders that we get in the U.S. comps.
Yeah,
I was like,
totally.
this is like where I want to be. Just enjoy that, even when things like weren't going as well in the rounds. And I was able to kind of carry that throughout all the comps. And yeah, that feeling kind of never went away, which was really cool. I had a lot of doubts going into a lot of rounds. And as soon as I was climbing, I was like, oh, this is just so fun. Like,
Yeah. I feel like excitement is the best word I decided, because I've heard a lot of people say that they want to go into a round and just have fun, but that just like doesn't quite sit right with me, because it's not always fun. Like you're kind of stuck. Sometimes the boulders are painful. Sometimes you're like falling and it's stressful, right? So like fun didn't like quite make sense in my brain, at least. But then at nationals this year, I realized it's excitement, and that's kind of sounds like what you're describing. It's like you need to be excited to be there and be excited to like test yourself. And sometimes like you can be excited for something that's not 100% fun.
Yeah.
But like it's still that like excitement and desire to perform in that type of thing.
Of course.
But that's really cool. I feel like
yeah,
you
I
did a
feel
good
like
job.
going into like any comp and being like, the boulders don't need to be fun. Maybe they're all going to be, my anti-style or things that I know other people are going to climb better on, but I'm just excited to like this kind of like playfulness, energy, kind of childlike, just let's go, that's so cool. And I feel like that energy for me has been what's been working the best for comps. And I feel like when I start to get too focused and too serious, I just can't try as hard, can't be as focused. I guess I said I was more focused, but you're less focused, really, I think.
Or like focused on something different.
Yeah, like too focused on being aggressive versus focused on just like feeling all the feelings of being there and competing.
Okay, we just had a little water break. So.
Water.
Oh.
Water.
Oh, carafe d'eau.
Carafe d'eau. That's the hardest word to say. The number of times I've been in a French restaurant and tried to ask for a carafe d'eau.
Carafe.
The jug.
D'eau. Yeah.
Carafe
it's
d'eau.
like a carafe. That's a word in English.
So actually,
carafe.
How's this for a sad story? My mom speaks French fluently, and she did not teach my brother or I as little kids.
Really?
She could have spoken to us in French.
That's tragic.
So, Mom.
I never had to learn.
Yeah.
I know. I just woke up one day. It was like, I speak French.
Did
you have to learn English? Or did you learn that at school?
No, not really, no. Except for I've been told, one time I told someone I spoke French, and they were like, that explains your accent. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I had an accent when I spoke English, but
pretty American accent.
Yeah, I think so. In French, I maybe have an accent, but in English,
I bet you have a French accent in French.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird. I'm told I sound like a duck.
A duck.
Yeah, but I think maybe in English too, a little bit, a little nasally.
Okay,
I can't tell the difference. I
have a squeaky voice, so
it's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, no quacks.
No quacks
in there.
Chris apparently has an extremely intense Joburg accent, so
yes.
We're just all have terrible voices.
You just sound different to me.
I just sound different, yeah. But
what was your follow-up to what we were just talking about, Chloe?
Was
a cat's it's okay. Pika. She just never gets to go on that counter.
She just wants
Pika.
attention.
Come here. Pika. There you go.
Kyra's got 2 cats. For anybody doesn't know. So
my question is, there's always a lot of emotions, different things we try to focus on when we're competing. Is there one thing that you're always telling yourself or that you look to embody as a competitor when you're competing? Like if you could simplify it, what are you trying to feel or do?
The only thing that I've been able to consistently think of that I tell myself, because I've had somebody else ask me that recently, I think I typically say, you've got this. Like if I turn around and look at a bubble, I'm like, okay, you've got this. And get on. But I don't know if I consciously do that, but that's definitely something that is consistent on different rounds.
Yeah. I don't know. I still struggle with my comp mindset. I feel like it changes so drastically from competition to competition. Just the lasagna.
The lasagna is done.
We're psyched. But
yeah,
no, I don't know. For the most part, I think the last comp was the pusher comp, and I thought that one,
which I won,
which I was psyched on.
Sick. And
there the mentality was serious but also having fun at the same time, which I think would be one to try and keep in mind for future comps. It's not I don't care, I very much care, but it's I'm here to have fun, enjoy myself, and try and show off in a way.
Yeah.
Show what I can do. But I feel just trial and error, that's what competition practice is.
Yeah. I feel like we never have to worry that the way we're thinking means we don't care.
Yeah.
Because with the amount of training, amount of work we put in, we wouldn't do those things if we didn't care. And sometimes you tell yourself, oh, I'm not, I don't actually care too much about this comp, to kind of relieve that fear of what if it goes wrong and stuff. But
I also feel that's comes down to, we know that as individuals, but
and then show it.
How much do sponsors, people close to you, how much does everybody else see into the fact of this is the amount of effort I've put in, it's not your result.
Well,
it shouldn't matter to you as an athlete, but realistically this is how we're all trying to make a living and make a life.
I've talked to people about this before, and I've always thought about how I think about other people. So if somebody who I know is strong gets a result that's not that maybe not that good, my first thought is like, oh man,
what happened? Yeah.
They didn't get to show like what they can do. You know, like that sucks for them. It's not like, wow, what happened? They're terrible at climbing now. You know,
they're bad now.
They're bad now.
My first thought is like, damn, like that's too bad. They're so like they're so good compared to that result. And so then if I don't get a result, then
it's kind of what you want people to think.
That's how I'm like, you know, want to think about myself as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you hope the sponsors and
exactly,
friends and supporters all realize that as well. Like not every day can be your best day. But that's like been my way of thinking about it, is like, how do I think about it when it happens to other people? And then ideally that's how other people are thinking about it. You know?
Yeah, it's always like, I feel like easier to be like more harsh on yourself than towards others. Like you'd be like, oh, it's a bad day, but you never let yourself have a bad day, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's tough.
Yeah.
It's harder, sorry.
I feel like in the end, nobody really cares as much as you
yeah.
do, you know? Like, nobody's going to care as much about what you're doing as you are. And if you're worried that other people are caring so much about it, then I think that's a different issue, maybe.
Fair. Oh.
Chris has a cat in his lap.
I have a cat on my lap. And lasagna. I'm psyched.
It smells
on this
so
So good.
good.
We got to let it cool down a little bit.
Yeah, I was
to
thinking
burn
that
those.
too.
one.
But
Anyway.
Next topic.
Actually, besides being a track sensation, what other sports do you do? What else do you do for fun?
Yeah, what's your
Like-
cross training like?
yeah.
'Cause you're always in the gym doing stuff.
yeah,
Something.
I try to hangboard pretty regularly just because I feel like my finger strength has been lacking generally, and that's kind of what I think held me back in a lot of, at least the bouldering comps this year. And not on crimps so much, but just my hand.
The hand
Like
strength?
a lot of times I'm like, oh, my arm can like get me there, or if I have to jump, my legs will get me there, but it's just like that last little bit of like actually grabbing things that has been a struggle. So I've kind of like playing a lot, and that's kind of something I've been trying to do this whole year, is just like, as much as I'm training and I'm serious, I need to make sure that I'm having fun and like almost just playing games in a way. Like I'll just grab a 2x4 and just be going like this, or whatever it is, just something fun that kind of, where I'm like, oh, that kind of got me a little pumped feeling. I'm like, okay, I'll do some of that. And on the wall too, all the time, just making up, really just making a V2 look super hard for no reason. Just gotta
It's like
play
fun
games.
stuff.
I fall off V2 all the time. People are like, no, you don't. I do. All the time I fall off V2 because I'm like, I'm going to try to kick this foot over there while I grab this. And it's the same move that other people can do real slow and stuff.
But, yeah.
So we got to keep playing. And so, yeah, I guess I try to play around with the exercises I do. And though I do have usually pretty strict things that I have to do as well, I make sure that where I have my freedoms of what I get to play around with, I can make up exercises or just make boulders more fun for me, make them a little riskier even when I don't need to. And I do that probably outside of climbing a lot as well. Like we went snowboarding, which feels very playful and flowy for me, and
Andrew like really go for it.
Yeah.
Snowboarding.
Full send.
We got off the lift and she was just gone. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, also Chloe did get how many concussions?
I think
In the past
one,
month?
potentially 2 concussions this past month, which is not really a joking matter, but
No.
it,
Yeah, protect your dome.
Yeah.
yeah.
You full
I
send.
was wearing a helmet,
Yeah.
but still managed to get myself good. So.
Fair.
But yeah, I think just making sure that I'm playing around, doing a lot of different sports. I like to skateboard. I was running a lot last year. I love volleyball, though I don't play as much as I would like to.
I would say undoubtedly Chloe is the most generally athletic of our team. The most like pure athlete for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, if somebody came past and was like, I need an athlete, you would be first
We'd be
pick,
like
probably.
just Chloe, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that's something that has always just been important to me, is like I want to be well-rounded in sports. I want to know that I could pick up this game, this sport, and just be able to enjoy myself in it. And when you're really new to a sport or an activity, it can feel it can be not so fun in the beginning. So I think building up, I can run, I can jump, I'm coordinated. Knowing you have all those skills not only helps with climbing, but also you're like, your friends are like, oh, you want to come mountain biking? Do you want to pick up snowboarding? You're like, yeah, I think I can make that work and also have a good time while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So
well, that's something that's been proven to make like great athletes is that multidimensionality, because especially when you're young, and that's a reason why USA Climbing has moved away from having like D competitions, which is like the youngest category, is because we want to encourage kids to do all these sports and get those skills that you get in basketball that you don't get in climbing, or that you get swimming. All those things make you a better athlete overall. And there's even been like a study done where top soccer players, like the people who are at the very top of soccer, didn't actually specialize in soccer till they were much older, and then anybody who specialized in soccer who were younger, like when they were younger, were actually like the second tier soccer. So like there's like professional, and then there was like semi-professional, and they were all semi-professional soccer. Like it was like the main difference between. Yeah, they specialized too early, basically.
There's a really good book called Range, which talks about generalists and specialists in sport, and essentially for down the line, like you need to generalize at a very young age and at the start of any career, and then specialize like later down. And it's just like an interesting take to think about.
Yeah, I started climbing when I was 13, and I was I was 15, 16, I was like, man, I wish I started when I was 8 or 9 or even younger, like a lot of people did, and who are still super strong. But looking back, I'm like, no, I'm glad I got to do all those other things, and in the end, once you've put enough time into a sport, I think you don't look back as much like, oh, those years from like 8 to 13 would have been really nice. And like, it's already been almost 10 years, and as long as you are still enjoying it, I think and you started pretty late as well.
I was 11.
Yeah.
When did
I was 12.
Yeah.
Around there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I feel like most people we've spoken to have been like
started when they were
3-year-olds.
6. Yeah.
Kind of vibe, like either parents climbed or like at a very young age.
Yeah, but I had to think that. Oh, I think climbing, you're not looking back at those years from 8 to 10 and being like, oh man, I should have trained harder when I was 8.
Sleepless nights from those.
That's a really good point.
Nothing but regret.
Yeah, my parents fucked up. No.
I wish they pushed me harder as a child.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I don't know
anybody who says that.
Yeah.
I think even for people who have like specialized or do feel like they're like so into climbing or so into whatever sport or other activity, I think it's so important to go and just try new other things. And like we were talking about it in the car, you don't need to be good at the other things that you're doing. If it's enjoyable for you and it's different, I think it's going to bring you a lot
of joy.
Yeah.
I think especially as it's good to be bad at things and like learn how to get better and like take that in stride is super important. Yeah. Teaches you a lot, for sure.
What are some things you guys are just remarkably bad at?
Swimming.
Yeah, swimming.
We were just talking about that in the car, too. Just, like, so bad.
My mom, 5 minutes, and Kyra's just gone.
Yeah, no, I said I can stay alive.
5.5 minutes.
I can stay alive for 5 minutes. And meanwhile, my mom did an Ironman.
That's crazy. That's a lot of swimming.
That's a lot.
It's more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't get that gene, I guess. But what's something you're remarkably bad at?
Maybe like really nifty things with my hands.
Like really tiny?
Like probably beading. Crocheting, knitting, sewing. Maybe not all of those things, but anything where I really gotta focus in, cannot. Very difficult for me.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I like those types of
very
things. Like super fiddly.
Like very dainty, small things with my hands. Very precise. Struggle. And I can tell when I'm climbing. Like there's a slot. Be right here. I'm like, boom. That's where
I love slots.
I can't. I think I'm just a little bit too
chaos.
Yeah, that's my hot take. I love slots.
Love slots.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, hot take.
Let's go into hot takes. Chloe, give us a hot take.
My first hot take that I thought of: hot tubs are way overrated. Way overrated.
So, hot tubs with or without bubbles, because a lot of people say, "Yay, bubbles," and then like no bubbles, and it's like, "Ooh, bathing with friends."
No, it's not even the bathing with friends part. Like we can all take a bath, that's fine. The hot tub, not it.
Interesting. Not for recovery. What about like a sauna?
Just the process of having to get changed, sitting in there, you're not really doing anything. Like whatever
Shooting the
conversations
shit,
you're
yeah.
having, you could be having right here. We could be eating some good snacks, but instead we're just sitting there getting hot. Then when you come out and you have to dry off, you should probably take a shower, put your
Chlorine.
clothes back on.
Yeah.
It's the
Okay.
before and after
It's the
that don't do it
process.
for me. If you like throw me in there and I'm already in there, it's too late. I'll have fun in there, but getting in, getting out.
Fair.
Interesting. Okay. That's a good hot take.
Yeah. Not one I was
That's my big
expecting.
one. That was I feel very strongly.
Strongly about
I
that
don't love the hot tub, but I understand why people like
Why
it.
people like it. Okay.
There's no judgment there.
And any others?
Blue cheese goes so hard.
Best cheese? I like
Probably the best cheese.
Fuck yeah. Good
The
gorgonzola.
stronger, the better.
I like all cheese.
That's good.
Yeah.
You guys like olives?
Yes.
I recently started liking olives.
Okay,
It's like very
that's good.
new.
Yeah.
But I
'Cause
can't
it's-
eat that many. I can eat like one. I'm like, nice, that one's good. And then the second one, I'm like, ooh, salty.
It's immature to not like olives.
I know. I think I've been really trying
That's
to...
my hot take.
That's a good hot
It's
take.
It's
'Cause a lot
immature
of
to
people-
not eat
yeah.
olives.
What about coffee? Is it immature to not like coffee too?
Yes. You're just a bad
Yes.
person at that point.
Chris just doesn't trust you if you don't like coffee.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
you might not deserve to be around. But joking.
Chris takes his coffee very seriously.
Love a
We
good cup
take
of
our coffee very seriously.
We're a pretty strong
Yeah. We can
coffee drinking
point
group.
that way
Yeah,
at
that's
the
true.
coffee
We have
machine setup. It's just out of
All
frame.
of the coffee paraphernalia.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
What's your guys' go-to coffee drink then?
Cappuccino. I judge every coffee shop by their cappuccino because there's multiple factors that have to be right. The espresso has to be good. The milk has to be properly frothed. If they ask you what size,
Done.
immediately I
What
switch
kind of
drinks.
milk?
Whole milk.
Okay.
It's the only and then, yeah. So
Switch drinks.
if they ask
What
me
size?
what size,
I'll take an
I
espresso.
literally say no, never mind. I'll take a mocha. I'm like, this isn't a good coffee shop.
Oh no.
Switch to a sweet drink.
Yeah.
All right.
Every time.
So for me, it would if I don't know the coffee. Well, it depends on time of day.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's say first coffee of the day, whenever that is.
first coffee of the day. I like a milky coffee in the morning, so my go-to is either a cortado or a cappuccino.
That's a good one.
But also, if it doesn't look like a good coffee shop, I'm not expecting them to make a good cortado. So then I'll probably go for an espresso, hoping they have like good beans. But
Could be.
it's risky. It's risky
It
out
is.
there. Here in Salt Lake, like I've found the coffee shops I like and trust, and will not go to a different one.
Me and John Brosler, actually our previous guest, went to all of the coffee shops that we could find when we first moved here and rated them. I have a rating list on my.
You gotta
Yeah.
send me that.
Yeah, it's good. It's still
a good
pretty
list.
accurate too. We need to go to some more. Some more have opened up. But
Okay.
what's your go-to?
I'm a cortado gal.
Cortado's
I
good.
think.
That's a solid drink.
I
Yeah,
wish
it's a
they
good
were
choice.
bigger sometimes. Like I like having a little more volume.
That's a
Then
cappuccino.
there's a cappuccino.
But the ratio.
Flat white,
The ratio
slightly
in a
more
cortado is really nice.
The ratio is
Yeah.
perfect. In
The thing is, you
cortado.
can't up the ratio
No,
of your
you
espresso.
can't. You're either
You just
getting more
need, that's how much you're getting.
more caffeinated or
Yeah, just get 2 next time.
yeah.
That's how I do it. So,
All right. Last question. If you had a billboard with any saying on it, picture of your face.
yeah. This is Cloe, Coscoy,
This is
and
Chloe.
then
This is my thing for the world. What is it?
Yeah. So you guys asked me this earlier, and I was thinking like, okay, what is something that's important to me? And I was gonna say, okay, maybe like be nice to strangers or something. I think that's important. You never know what's going on in people's lives. Then I thought about it more when we were at the grocery store, and I was like, what do I really think? And I was like, we should just say, eat more yogurt. That's what I came up with.
Eat more yogurt.
I just think yogurt is so great, and people shouldn't. If you like yogurt, you should eat more of it because it's delicious. It's high in protein. It can make a snack, a meal.
It's true.
Interesting.
More
I
yogurt.
honestly, I don't eat enough yogurt.
Yeah,
I like
should
yogurt.
eat
Big
more,
fan.
yeah.
If you like yogurt, why don't you eat more yogurt?
American yogurt is
I
nuts
like it.
expensive.
It is
That's what I'm
expensive.
saying.
It's getting more expensive
Yeah.
too.
I know. I went to go buy the milk I usually buy, and it was $10 a gallon, and I
Change brands.
That is some steep
Yeah, that
milk
was-
price. That hurts a little bit.
No,
to
that
spend
was-
$10 on a
I-
gallon of milk.
Usually my motto is like, add to cart,
But
but
yeah, don't check the price.
at a grocery
Just
store,
add-
Put that on the billboard. Just
Yeah.
add to cart.
Add to cart.
You see it, you buy it.
but the $10 a gallon, that one was
Could
bad.
make it.
That did not get added to cart.
Bite a bit too hard. Eat more yogurt.
Eat more yogurt, everybody.
Also, be
Stronger.
nice to strangers.
Also be nice.
Yeah.
To
That one's important.
That one's similar to what I said. I said give people the benefit of the doubt. I think.
Yeah, I feel like
And
very
similar to mine, which was just be lekker.
Just be like
Just be like a-
Just be
nice
nice.
to people.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
Prices.
be nice.
Also, yeah, come say hi to us at the gym. We're nice people.
Say,
Yeah. The other hot take, some people are too nice.
yeah.
Like, you can't bully people who are too nice.
I think be nice to strangers, but once they're your friends,
You can
stop
be-
being so
you,
nice.
You can be mean to them.
if they let you
Tear
be
that
mean to
person
them,
down.
they're great friends. Not too mean, but mean.
Mean enough.
Not actually mean, but you know.
Yeah. Playful.
We were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be nice on the outside, but you can't just.
Slightly hurtful. You need to have some depth to you. So,
True.
there we go.
All right.
Be
Maybe that's a hot
nice to
take.
strangers. Don't be as nice to your friends.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Another hot take from Chloe to end.
Cheffing and Chit Talking, guys. 2023.
Thanks for listening.
Boom.
Woo. Well done. And now we just
Fucking
need
hell.
to.
Now we need to get the breakfast.
Might be our best one yet. Chloe.
That was fucking
Yeah.
good, dude. You were on a roll.